So, I've been asked this question by quite a few people. Will you be giving a review to some of the other Tom and Jerry products for your review series? And my answer to that would always be that it's a definite maybe. Because a quick update for my Sean's Network reviews, I added a bunch of shows that I'll be taking a look at sometime in the future to a giant list of shows in 2 categories. There are some shows that I am currently marathoning by the time that I'm writing this script, called Lyoko and Kappa Mikey, as well as Kuku Hirajuku, but I'm holding on marathoning the rest of that for now. Those shows are pretty long though, but I made enough space to where I can simultaneously marathon another show in the meantime, because I organized the list into 2 separate categories, and by the number of episodes that they were given, since some of the earlier shows in both of these categories are extremely short. I won't need to worry about making certain reviews extremely long like some other reviews I've been doing as of recently. As a quick reminder, I'm watching each and every single episode of these shows to prepare for reviews, so my points could be on point and I would be able to know about a lot of things about the shows in general. And considering the very short amount of episodes of some of the earlier shows that I'm considering reviewing in both of these categories that I'll go in a pattern with, it won't take too long to finish all the episodes of these shows. And in particular, one of the first shows besides Middle School Moguls that I threw into one of these categories was the Gene Deitch Tom and Jerry shorts. The only other show that it was in competition with was Aquaman King of Atlantis, but since the Gene Deitch Tom and Jerry shorts beat it out on the Wheel of Names, it's the subject for today's review. But since I'm going in a pattern with both of these categories, I'll be saving that show for later to see what I think about it. But we're on the Gene Deitch Tom and Jerry shorts today. When these shorts came out initially, they were hated. Like, beyond hated. In fact, they grew such a large amount of hate that they now live in infamy. These shorts even had the reputation of being the worst thing to ever come out of Tom and Jerry. That is until the 1975 Tom and Jerry series came out, the Tom and Jerry 1992 movie came out, and the Tom and Jerry crossover movies came out. And yes, while there are a lot of aspects to not like this era for, some other aspects are kind of overblown due to public perception. And since the director and one who gave his input on these cartoons, Gene Deitch, is dead, I want to be as nice as possible because he did some pretty good things in his lifetime, as he also contributed to Popeye, another classic cartoon icon. Throughout this Sean's Network Reviews series, I've been giving out my share of unpopular opinions, whether the shows in particular are generally liked or have mixed reception. And I'm going to have to unfortunately give out another unpopular opinion. The hate was overblown for this era of Tom and Jerry. Actually, that is starting to become the standard opinion about the Gene Deitch Tom and Jerry cartoons, that the hate was overblown for them. I'm not saying that these cartoons are good by all means necessary, obviously not. I still think that in general, the Gene Deitch Tom and Jerry shorts is pretty low on my rankings towards shows that I reviewed for Sean's Network reviews, but I've seen some people say that the Gene Deitch cartoons are so bad that they are the worst in Tom and Jerry's history besides most of their films. Considering the other things that came out of the franchise, these shorts are probably some of the least egregious stuff that you'll see in the entire franchise, as they do have some understanding to what made the original Tom and Jerry shorts work, for the most part. I'll get to the things that don't work about these shorts shortly. And in terms of some of these shorts, if you're able to look hard enough, you'll be able to find some notable gems that, if they were made in the Hanna-Barbera era of Tom and Jerry shorts, they would have definitely fit in perfectly with them. They would definitely have to be reworked a little bit to make the animation a lot better and get rid of Clint Clobber or rewrite him to make him not as abusive. But regardless, the pieces are here, and there was a bit of an attempt to get on the same level of atmosphere as the original shorts. They just came up short for a lot of reasons, and the music is still relaxing, just like in the original Tom and Jerry cartoons. My favorite of these shorts is the Tom and Jerry cartoon kit, as it's very experimental, and unlike Thundercats Roar, this short has an excuse to why it doesn't have any backgrounds, as the entire cartoon short is just an experiment. And also, here's something else that I like about these shorts that gives them advantage over some other Tom and Jerry products. For the most part, Tom is usually the one that instigates Jerry going after him, and this time around, Tom actually does things to deserve Jerry going after him. Are there some points where this problem happens? Oh yes, most definitely, and I'll go into that shortly as well, but every other time, this is completely non-existent in the series, and it's not nearly as bad here as in that other show, but that's where my praise ends. Let's start off with one of the more obvious issues with this era of Tom and Jerry, the animation. It's not the worst Tom and Jerry animation ever. Honestly, the Tom and Jerry comedy show is worse in this regard, but the Gene Deitch Tom and Jerry shorts are very close. I don't know if it's just me, but something just doesn't feel right with the animation on display here. Even when I was little, I remember not liking these shorts all that much, and found that there was just something not right with these shorts. But now I figured it out. The animation in general feels very janky, and it just doesn't fit with Tom and Jerry in the slightest. Because Tom and Jerry as a franchise is revolved entirely around slapstick, which requires energized timing and attention to detail. The slapstick and timing in these shorts are very slow, which removes the momentum of the timing, and that's a huge shame because if you can ignore all the other aspects of the animation, the character designs actually look pretty nice as they take after UPA shorts in the veins of something like Mr. Magoo or Gerald McBoing, where the designs look simplistic, thus making more room for the animation to be cartoony, which is fitting since Tom and Jerry is slapstick driven, and it's coincidental as Gene Deitch did some works on UPA shorts for television, so going more cartoony does help. It's the poor execution that cancels out these otherwise pretty decent designs. As I said, because the animation is very janky and the slapstick is very slow, the jokes in this collection of shorts ends up falling flat on their face. And considering the fact that these shorts were able to be released in theaters with more freedom in the budget to make the animation a lot smoother, these shorts have even less of an excuse than the Tom and Jerry comedy show did. I heard that the reason why these shorts ended up being like this was both because of the fact that MGM outsourced the animation to Czechoslovakia, and these shorts were made in the span of a week. But there's just no excuse for this level of quality in the slightest.
With designs that are this simplistic,
and props that are not even that detailed, there would obviously be more room in making sure that the actual animation would make up for these particular designs, as in making the movements at least smooth, and make the timing at the very least land well to make the jokes effective. But no, they don't do that. As for how the shorts are in particular, they're alright for what they are, with the exception of a few problems that I'll be getting to shortly with how Tom is treated in a select few shorts and Tom's owner. There are quite a few things that these shorts do that if they were in the original era, they would have definitely fit in. But there is one thing that would definitely need to be fixed up majorly, and that is the sound effects. Landing Stripling is the worst in this regard because they thought it would be a good idea to give this yellow bird a bunch of echo sound effects. They also appear in other episodes for the record, but not nearly as bad. And while the majority of these shorts do have Tom being tormented by Jerry for at least a reason that is set up, some other shorts in this era completely forgets that you're supposed to actually have a reason for a character to do these things to the other, such as in Calypso Cat, where Jerry decides to ruin Tom's chances with this female cat because, well, Tom decided not to let Jerry come with him onto the boat. I mean, yeah, that was kind of selfish for Tom to do, but that's not a good reason to ruin Tom's time on the boat with this female cat. Like, you seriously can't say with a straight face that simply not letting someone onto a boat with you is as bad as directly pushing someone from being able to go into a car, or throwing the person that saved your life under the bus after giving you a warm home. All Tom really did here was close the window to keep Jerry from getting onto the boat. The horror, someone wants to be left alone and wants nothing to do with you. And Jerry also decides to torment Tom for not letting Jerry get a hold of one of the stakes in High Stakes. It would be one thing if Tom was eating something and he didn't share anything with Jerry. That's why Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Mouse from the original era worked. Tom refused to share his milk with Jerry, leading to Tom digging himself a bigger hole. But in High Stakes, Tom doesn't want to share the stakes with Jerry for a very good reason, that being the fact that his owner would pummel him. But other than those two appearances, Jerry is not that awful in this era of Tom and Jerry. He's way worse than the Tom and Jerry comedy show. No, if there's any character to hate in this era of Tom and Jerry, it's definitely Clint Clobber. Here's a little piece of info that I found when doing research on this 13 shorts era of Tom and Jerry. All three of the shorts where Clint Clobber appears are rarely shown on Cartoon Network and Boomerang because of, and I quote, insensitive material and depictions of animal abuse. And that was honestly an understandable move right there, because everything that was ever said about this character is completely true. What I said back in my Tom and Jerry comedy show review about Clint Clobber being the worst owner in all of Tom and Jerry is true today, and I still hold these feelings. Clint Clobber is just one heck of an abusive person, particularly towards animals, more specifically Tom. Even if your hypothetical pet did something bad, you should realize that they're just an animal and they aren't as intelligent as we humans are. Well, Clint Clobber doesn't know about that, and in all three of his appearances, he goes overboard with it, to a point where he manages to get into the ranks of being the worst owner in all of Tom and Jerry in just 3 shorts. The owners from the Tom and Jerry comedy show had their appearances be in most episodes of that show, and there were 15 half-hour episodes of that series, and Clint Clobber manages to be worse than those owners in just 3 of these shorts, which only clock around 6 or 7 minutes. Right out the gate in his first appearance, when Tom accidentally hits him in the head with a frying pan, he continuously hits Tom with that same frying pan multiple times and gleefully stomps on Tom's hand while he screams in agony because he thinks that Tom is pushing on the gas pedal. And both of these actions are extremely difficult to recover from. And guess what? He doesn't recover or get better at all. He actually ends up getting even worse. In the next short he appears in, High Stakes, when he assumes that Tom was playing around with him when a shuttlecock flies into his mouth, he flips out at Tom for it. He forces pop down Tom's throat when he assumes that Tom spilled some pop onto the steak, and ties him onto a chair, not even being concerned about the fact that his cat could have drowned, and more on the fact that his meal was ruined. And in his last appearance, Sorry Safari, he's selfishly more concerned by the fact that Tom is messing with his gun than Tom's safety. He beat up his pet when he accidentally got himself and his owner knocked off the elephant, and purposefully crushed Tom's fingers when he went through the lunchbox when looking for Jerry. And this is his last appearance in this era of Tom and Jerry and the entire franchise. Well, all I will say when it comes to this episode and it being Clint Clobber's final appearance is good riddance, you jerk. You will be missed by no one. Yeah, Tom's other owners have beaten up Tom as well, but the most that they would do is knock Tom in the head with a broom or force feed him something that makes him throw up. But they wouldn't even be shown on screen doing these things. The most that they would do is show the hand or just the broom. But in these shorts, you actually do see Clint Clobber physically hurting Tom over what was unintentional. And for all we know, he probably doesn't even know if Tom knows any better. So he would probably get like this even if it was just for a normal cat. But overall, the Gene Deitch era of Tom and Jerry was not very good. In Sean's network reviews, I wouldn't put this show nearly as bad as the Tom and Jerry comedy show, because not only are the owners in that show bad, it literally had nothing that people came to like about Tom and Jerry. Not even the music in that show was good. And it's also a little better than Ollie's Pack, because I was at least able to find some things to like in this era when ignoring the big Clint Clobber in the room. But I definitely put it as worse than Camp Coral and Middle School Moguls because of the pet abuse, and I found some more shorts that I didn't like in this era than just the 4 that I mentioned. Even though I'm probably never going to watch these shorts ever again, I definitely wouldn't put it as the worst Tom and Jerry thing ever. I would definitely take this over the Tom and Jerry comedy show and Tom and Jerry Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory any day of the week, because there was some passion put into it, and it does have an understanding of how Tom and Jerry works. But given the choice, out of the Tom and Jerry products that relies entirely around slapstick, this one is second only to the Tom and Jerry comedy show in being the worst out of the Tom and Jerry shows that use slapstick and only on slapstick.
Everything